Unemployment has joined corruption and poverty as the most talked about topics across the globe. In a new BBC opinion poll, almost a fifth of the 11,000 respondents said they discussed job loss with friends and family over the previous month. This week on BBC World News, we're looking at how unemployment is affecting young people around the globe. To start off, Ben Thompson takes a journey from Tuscany in the north of Italy to Naples in the south, meeting young people for whom the future looks pretty uncertain.
The city of Prato in northern Italy is dominated by factories making textiles. They once employed thousands of people, but the recession hasn't been kind to Prato. In recent months, many factories like this one have been forced to close. Italy, like Greece, Spain and Portugal, is in serious financial difficulty. During the boom years of the 1980s, the government here spent too much money, and now it has to pay that money back. And for students at the local college, that means jobs here are hard to come by. The school's head teacher says the future looks bleak.
I'm not worried only for my students, I'm worried for the whole new generation. I'm a father too, so I'm very worried.
But travel south to Italy's more rural areas and the problem is much worse. This is Pompeii in the shadow of Mount Vesuvius. It's an area traditionally known for its farming and agriculture. Unemployment here has always been high, but over the last few years that has jumped, and particularly amongst young people aged between 16 and 24. The rate of unemployment is now the highest in Italy and now stands at 42%. But here, instead of protesting about the problems, they're making music. They say it gives them a voice.
I think the economic crisis in Italy is really huge, but we have a weapon against the economic crisis. It's the music.
Sometimes I work doing small cash and hand jobs to get a bit of money for me and my parents, but it's so difficult to find a job. It's all about who you know.
Many here want to leave Italy, but with the crisis now engulfing Europe, finding a job elsewhere could be just as difficult as finding one here. Ben Thompson, BBC News in southern Italy.
Well, joining me now from Geneva is José Manuel Salazar. He's Executive Director of Employment for the International Labour Organization. Thank you for being with us here on GMT. We've just seen there the problem of youth unemployment in Italy. How universal is this problem?
Yes, thank you for the invitation to the program. Well, it is unfortunately quite widespread. You know, the crisis was very synchronized in many countries, as we know, developed countries, Europe, the United States, but also it had a strong impact in developing countries. So there was a lot of impact in labor markets around the world, and of course we know that young people are some of the most vulnerable and the most affected. So as a result, you have unemployment rates that in many countries are 3 times the unemployment rate of adults, and in some cases even 4 times. But there are also other situations in terms of young people with low productivity jobs or temporary jobs or in long-term unemployment. So there are many difficult situations for young people in terms of their chances of getting a decent job.
Why do you think young people are being hit disproportionately in this situation, in an economic crisis?
Well, there are a number of special circumstances, characteristics of young people. One of the most important is the fact that because precisely being young, they have never had work experience before. So employers look not only for technical competence, but also for some work experience, for some teamwork abilities, communication abilities, etc. And many of them don't have that experience. So they're in a catch-22 vicious circle, if you like. And this is why it's so important to have programs that allows them to have that kind of internship or work experience.
And very briefly, sorry, can I just interrupt? Very briefly, what do you think, looking into the future, are the consequences of this kind of youth unemployment, social consequences perhaps, just briefly?
Yes, well, we have been in the ILO warning precisely, even before the crisis and much more afterwards, that first of all, this is a lot of human suffering for the young people, but it is a waste of human capital, and that eventually you could have a lost generation, or a generation which is very strongly marked by the experience of not entering the labor market in time. There are long-term scarring effects.
Okay.
It is very clear that you can have lower wages in the future and find it much more difficult to get jobs in the future.
Thank you very much, José Manuel Salazar. We have to leave it there. Thank you.